Hello, my astrology family. This is Lada from astrolada.com here with my insights and interpretation of the December 26th annular solar eclipse in Capricorn. The end of the year and the start of 2020 is just so powerful. It's framed between two eclipses, one solar, which is about new beginnings, and one lunar at the start of 2020. So we'll be at the start of 2020 in the corridor between two eclipses. So this new year will truly be transformational because the period between two eclipses is when things can fully switch around, change in our mind, change in our life. So indeed, this year, people after the first day of the new year, or even a little bit before, can change their life around. You know how people always start going on diets or exercise and they swear they're not going to drink or whatever. They're going to leave a bad relationship at the start of the year, and usually very few of us follow through. But now the astrological influences are so aligned that this will truly be a new beginning. This corridor from the 26th to around the first 10 days of the new year, such big inside and outside changes will be happening for so many of us. And in particular, I want to talk about this eclipse, the solar eclipse on the 26th of December, with which we complete the year. But as I told you, it's active for 2 weeks after that. So it takes us into the new year. So this energy, we're going to walk through the portal of the new year with the energy of this eclipse, because an eclipse actually imprints itself for the next 6 months, but it's most potent for the next 2 weeks and actually for a month before that. So the things that I'm talking about, some of you might have felt them already in December. Others are building up to them and will feel them now December and part of January very strongly. And because this is such a powerful new year's beginning, we're doing a manifesting workshop with Angelique, a whole day online where we're going to learn how to manifest, and we're going to do like setting intentions and doing a manifesting board. It's only $20 and it's a full day workshop, I think 5 hours or something. So do check it. I'm hoping to gather like a big group so we can build up our energies and manifest powerfully and catch the wave of those eclipses, because eclipses are time of big fated events and manifestation. Eclipses are the times when big things happen, like meeting someone, separating from someone, quitting a job, starting a new life direction, getting pregnant, someone dying, someone being born, all of those big things that we always look, somehow they get triggered always in the horoscope, personal horoscope, by eclipses. And because of that, we want to, we want to align to the energy of the eclipses. And we're doing this vision board, 2020 vision board, doing workshop with Angelique, only $20 again on the 29th of December. But let's start with this eclipse. This eclipse is extremely spiritual. This is how I see it. This is how I interpret it. And you'll say, spiritual? It's all in Capricorn. Capricorn is all material. Well, I'll tell you why I say it's spiritual. First of all, the eclipse is focused on Sun, Moon, and Jupiter. That the three sattvic planets. In ancient astrology, sattvic means spiritual. They do the bidding of God, of the light forces. They act through dharma. They act from inspiration because they feel inspired, because they understand, not because they're forced. They're sattvic planets, and they're kama, like raja planets, which are build on desire, for example, like might be sexual desire or ambition. And there is tama planets, which we are forced to act on them because things are not well, because we're not doing well, because we're blocked, because there is stagnation, there is pain. But the sattvic planets that actually trigger this eclipse, Jupiter, Sun, and Moon, the three sattvic planets are there together. It means that we'll be pushed into initiating something new because of inspiration. Because new moons and solar eclipses in particular are very powerful new moons, new beginnings basically. But this one will push us to start something in the new year, or even a little bit before, or in the next 6 months. As I said, an eclipse acts for 6 months based on some realization, based on some inspiration, based on on some spiritual growth that happens within us, not because we are forced in some way. So that's some of the good news that I have for you. And of course, it might not be easy, because we have in this eclipse something that is called a sannyasi yoga. When we have 4 planets of the traditional planets in the same sign, and we're going to have Sun, Moon, Jupiter, and Saturn. Pluto is not one of the traditional signs. It is there, it intensifies things, but I'm talking about traditional sannyasi yoga is a spiritual yoga. People born with 4 planets or more in the same sign, usually they have to follow a path or career of spirituality, otherwise their life is so dissatisfying, it's full of problems. The only path, because you know what, how it feels like when there's so many planets in one sign, it feels like there are 4 radios or 5 radios blaring at you at the same time, and you can feel a bit mad. People that are born with that can feel a bit mad. They hear 4 voices or 5 voices, depending how many planets are there in their head, and they want to act in some direction because it's in the same sign, so it's in the same area of their life. So they want to act, for example, for career or love or whatever, but those 4 or 5 competing forces are just giving different instructions, and the person start thinking they're going mad, and the person start thinking that, okay, it pulls you in one direction, in the other, what should they do? So many things, which one of them should they do in this area of life? And at the end, what happens, this sannyasi yoga, is that they see they can't solve it, they can't take the decision, so they leave it in God's hands. They leave that area of their life and they allow the universe to deal with it. They stop trying to fix it, to understand it, you know, to make sense of it, and by God's grace they go and do God's work. Or I'm not saying just, you know, go and pour soup to people in a charity or something, but somehow they dissociate from it, they become the observer, and things there work out. So something similar will happen on a collective level for us with this eclipse, with 4 planets that form a sannyasi yoga, which is the most spiritual yoga. So people that are born with this already, with 4 planets in the same sign, they have to go on the spiritual path. This is the strongest yoga to develop connection to higher powers, spiritual path in life. But this is forming for short period for all of us collectively, which includes also an eclipse. So what I'm trying to say is that there will be, you can feel at some moment that your head is going to explode, that you're hearing different voices, that I should do this, no, I should do that in this area of my life. And we'll talk about the 12 signs, maybe what specific area is going to influence you in. But collectively for all of you, I'm sure that at this period of the year currently, a lot of you have some certain area in their life that they feel like they're gonna explode. They feel that they've been trying probably to deal with it, and they've been trying to sort it somehow, or they just don't know which path to take because of all those 4 radio stations happening there. And it will intensify around the 26th, you know, a week before, a week or a few weeks after that. But the eclipse here will, and what is the solution of this sannyasi yoga, this spiritual yoga, is not to try to solve it with your mind, because you can't. You leave it in the hands of a higher power, and God resolves it. So it's kind of this let go and let God type of thing. It's almost like higher powers will take over and will bring you on the other side somehow. So instead of beating yourself down, instead of trying to work it out with your human intelligence, which is very limited, albeit amazing sometimes, there is powers beyond us that are taking here, and that we need to surrender in some way. But as I said, they will bring such, almost like you surrender, you feel like a feeling of surrender, and you're like, okay, I'm done with that, you know, whatever, I'm like, I can't solve it, and then the solution comes. As I said, these are the sattvic planets, and Jupiter is part of that. Jupiter is knowledge, is angelic wisdom, and it's trine Uranus. So there is another planet of wisdom involved, but Uranus is divine wisdom, because there is angelic, which is above the humans, and there is divine, which is even above. So Uranus knowledge it gets downloaded suddenly. Jupiter is like intuition as well, finding the right piece of information, finding the right advice someone gives you. You know, it's like God will send us people or articles, information in the form like a messenger, like an angel from him, but it might be in the form of humans, or some advice, you know, or some deeper intuition that we feel, or a dream. And Uranus can bring us to the solution very fast, because trine aspect is very supportive, and Uranus downloads information so quickly. So there will be something that you download, understanding, clarity. You know, Jupiter is light, it's to shine light of wisdom and knowledge. Uranus is bam, you know, eureka, I now understand it. And it will be on a matter that you've been dealing before with. It's something that might have been long lasting in some way. Why am I saying it's connected to the past as well? Because eclipses, solar eclipses tend to be about new beginnings. And yes, there'll be a new beginning, but it will be based on something that has existed in your life, because it's part of this solar eclipse is the south node Ketu. You can't see it here on the chart, but eclipses can be either with Rahu or Ketu. And Ketu indicates something from the past. It might be one from a past lifetime, or it might be a forgotten idea, or it might be an issue that you've had for years or for months. It's something, and it's usually something that is hidden, because Ketu is a hidden planet. It hides from the light. So it's something almost like very deep to the subconscious, connected, as I said, maybe to past lifetimes as well, and that might have been a long-standing issue or situation in your life that has been stagnant in some way. But now you will download knowledge or inspiration, or within you or from outside, something will come to help you resolve that stagnant situation and to start a new beginning. And it might feel a little bit like a crisis as well, because eclipses feel like that. But I told you, this crisis that happens, it will be purging, psychological crisis, because Ketu is also an influence of purging, of releasing, which will bring you wisdom, which will make almost like you let go of old beliefs or of old patterns. And because of that, you would allow place for something powerful, new to come, which is this solar eclipse, something new. Which you would add with inspiration on Jupiter and Uranus and with knowledge. And it might feel to some of you like aha moment or eureka, or my God, or you take a book and you read something and say, I've read that before, but wow, now it makes sense. I've always known that, but now I hear it. Now I understand it. Now it's reprogrammed something inside of me on such a deep level, you know, and now it works, like someone who keeps going to meetings to stop drinking or whatever, and they don't get it, and suddenly they've gone to 1,000 meetings, and suddenly they go and they say, wow, today I got the message. Something like that can happen in certain area of your life. So big psychological transformation. And because the south node is part of this eclipse, it is about, as I said, something resolving something from the past, something that has been started in a past lifetime that you can restart now, or something that you have started in the past can revive an old idea and start it again within a month, or maybe some of you have started already. But I wanted to bring into attention another thing that Western astrologers don't talk about, but I want to include the constellations, the lunar constellations. There are 27 lunar constellations behind. They're based on actual stars. And this solar eclipse is happening at the very end of the constellation Mula, which is close to the heart of the galactic center. Mula means root, because the galactic center, is where it is very close to, within 6-7 degrees. The galactic center is the root of our solar system, of our galaxy. It's where all the material for all the stars and the spiritual energy comes from there, the creative force. So that's why it's the root. So it is happening in the constellation of Mula. And I've called this video, the solar eclipse is the destroyer of lies and deceptions, because Mula in ancient astrology is known as the destroyer of untruths, because it is the source of the biggest truth. Mula is almost like the Godhead, the source of creation. And what happens when Mula is so strongly activated with this eclipse, there will be an outpouring of information or wisdom or intuition, which destroys lies in your life. And I'm not only talking that some of you might find out a lie, and I've seen this already happen to certain friends, because as I said, the eclipse acts a month before that as well. They discovered secrets, they discovered things that weren't truth, whether through partner, or through career or relationships. But I'm talking also on personal level. Many of you will have some download of information or realization or shift in their conscious, more importantly in their subconscious, because it is the subconscious that leads our decisions usually. You know, with the conscious, you say, I'm not going to overeat. The subconscious says, I don't care. I'm going to overeat because I think it makes me happy. So you overeat, even though you're saying, I'm not overeating, I'm not overeating, you know. So the subconscious, because mula is the root, it goes to the root of things, and the root of things is our subconscious. So this burst of energy that the solar eclipse is going to channel very close to the galactic center, still within that lunar constellation, the root, the creator, the destroyer of lies, can really liberate us of some self-decepting beliefs that we've had. And for every person, it might be a different area of life. For some, it might be someone that's always believed their subconscious that I have to work 13 hours per day to be promoted. You know, it might be something simple. And then you suddenly realize, no. Suddenly you see someone that works 5 hours and they promoted much more. And you're like, okay, this bullshit belief gets, this untrue belief gets destroyed by a sudden burst of information, knowledge, realization. Or it might be like, oh, all my family have always had a bit of weight, and we're all susceptible to, gaining on weight. And that's, again, suddenly you might have a realization this is not true. You see it's true every day. You see all your family maybe is overweight, but you can realize, you can read something or deep within, you can reprogram suddenly now your mind to believe that actually you don't have to be the same, that actually you don't have to have those the same health issues or whatever. So for every person, it might be on a very different level, that there will be some deep realization that destroys some lies, that destroys some untruths. And that destroys in the subconscious directly. They will first understand it with the conscious, then it will really penetrate to the subconscious, and then it will manifest in their life of starting a new life cycle or a new beginning in their life that is based on more truth in that area of their horoscope where the eclipse is happening, obviously. And because Mula in ancient astrology is also ruled by Ketu, so we have double Ketu influence. Ketu, the south node of the moon, is with the eclipse. It is the one causing the eclipse. And Mula is ruled by Ketu as well. So Ketu in ancient astrology is the most spiritual influence. That's why I'm telling you, there is like hordes of angels and archangels and beings connected to you, evolution, that now gathering together on a meeting, and they're deciding the future. And they're saying, okay, we're gonna download to them this piece of information, this liberating, Jupiter and Uranus are both liberating planets, this liberating piece of information, this liberating process in their subconscious. We're going to kickstart it. For some, it might be even kickstarted with a crisis. Remember, eclipses always can bring some crisis reversal, but this reversal and crisis, and for some, it might be just in a psychological process rather than outside crisis happening, or just internal crisis. But this crisis leads to liberation. This crisis leads to reprogramming of your mind and to destroying of life and allowing you to start new beginnings again, which will have constructive material results over the next years. Because it is happening, don't forget, in the sign of Capricorn. We're using the solar this is the solar signs, so to speak. The tropical zodiac is in Capricorn, because Capricorn rules to manifest something materially, tangibly, to act on something and to concretely create something, and to have a plan for that. So as I said, the big spiritual release or realization is happening because of all the factors that release some old blockage or old pattern, Ketu, something from the past. The wisdom comes to understand it. Release is happening, and that because of that, you can build something built on much more truth and way more stable and long-lasting in whatever area of your life Capricorn falls in. Somehow, you know, the Jupiter with the South Node as well, again, very spiritual influence. And the South Node is past lifetimes or past things from the past. Jupiter is good karma, something virtuous. So there is a trigger here that you have done something, some works, maybe past lifetime, maybe this lifetime, you did something good to someone or to, you know, generally. And because of that, there is merit coming from a good past deed that is being activated by this eclipse, and which can lay the foundations of a new successful endeavor in your life. Because remember, solar eclipses are new beginnings. So something good you did in the past, good karma, because of that, you're given like a dispensation from the angels or your guardian angels or the universe to release something and to lay the foundations of a new successful beginning of some sort. But as I said, because Mula is involved, there can be some distraction there first. And because Mula is known as very destructive nakshatra. When you find out some deep truth, it's fantastic when you're destructive towards the bad things in your life. You know, it's some belief thing, some wrong belief you've had, or some harmful belief, or some stagnating belief. When you realize it's not true, you destroy everything in your life that's based on it. So there'll be an element of that. But for some people that are not so regenerated, or maybe they have too much trauma, there can be some extreme cases, very destructive actions. Look around, you know, you can see people acting really like they realize something, maybe they find out something they didn't know about, some untruth they uncover, and they become destructive towards a partner, towards, you know, a client, or whatever, or towards themselves. So there is a danger of distractiveness. But again, because Jupiter is there, Uranus is bringing a light of wisdom as well. I think the wisdom will overpower the destructive nature. And yes, we'll discover something hidden, because Mula is also about investigation, digging deep, research. So a lot of you might start on a new research or investigation, digging below the surface, exploration of some sort, but it will bring a lot of knowledge. Uranus, Jupiter, you know. So, and Mula brings a lot of passion to get to the truth, to research, to investigate, to find the truthfulness. It's very direct and ardent. So you can notice people around you and you yourself becoming in the next week very direct, blunt to some extent, cutting to the bottom, very passionate, and they point to you. It's like, are you crazy? You're thinking like that, or are you crazy? Look what you're doing. But the good thing is that maybe you've heard that before. Like, why do you keep doing this to yourself? Why do you keep dating the same guys? Why do you keep whatever? But now you'll hear it. This is the difference. Now Jupiter, planet of recognition, of wisdom, of understanding, Uranus, sudden understanding as well. Sudden like, aha, oh my God, that makes sense. Now you hear it if someone calls you on your bullshit, or you call yourself on your bullshit. So a lot of spiritual work is happening here that can lead to new beginnings. Now let's quickly look through the 12 signs. For Aries, this is happening, and do check your ascendant sign, guys. It is very important. Then the sun and moon, to see the different areas it can affect, because we're multi-layered beings, and it's not just the sun that, or the ascendant or the moon that affects us. It affects us from different, you know, the sun symbolizes the spirit, the moon symbolizes the soul, the ascendant symbolizes the physical reality and body. So we have different bodies within the physical body, spiritual bodies, that they are also kind of their own independent bodies. So this is symbolized by sun, moon, and the ascendant, those three layers of consciousness and body in us. So check it from the three. So Aries, sun, moon, rising. This solar eclipse, the destroyer of lies, is happening in your 10th house of career. You can discover something about your career, or about your goals and mission in life, that that destroys certain false beliefs you have. And some of you might even want to destroy an aspect of your career, because you realize it's based on untruthfulness, or it's based on a truth that no longer serves you, you know. But the wisdom comes to you, Jupiter, Uranus, you know, comes to you in such a way that you take wise decisions. And after that, within the next 6 months, you can start a really new beginning in your career. And one that is full much more of knowing and wisdom where you want to go. And maybe some of you had, you know, this Mula, the destroyer, because it's with Mula, the destroyer of lies and illusions. Maybe some of you thought, oh, I'm meant for this career. And suddenly you realize, wow, I'm not meant for this career, or I'm not meant for this project. It might be just on a smaller level, certain project. And you're like, this is bullshit project. Or no, this does not resonate with my moral. This does not resonate with where I want to go. And because of that, you can abandon it, but it create space for some new project to come, you know, for some new career opportunity to come. And At the same time, some of you can have can go into a very passionate research in regards to your career, because Mula is investigative, it researches, it digs, and it gives a lot of passion and ardor, as I said. So it can bring you some research in career, or some investigation, or some really digging deep to get to the truth to it. And also transformation. Mula is the most transformative nakshatra. So there can be a big, powerful transformation in regards to your career brought by this eclipse, and solving of some problem in regards to your career. I mean, like, and father figures. This can be with fathers, with authority figures. You might solve a problem that you've had with your father, or realize that something that's happening in your life because of parental figure, or because this 10th house rules parental figure, or authority figures in your life that have been your attitude towards authority. You can have a sudden realization there as well. Also, you can be released from some kind of an oppressive authority figure, or oppressive authority behaviors in yourself, and have a realization how to be a better leader of your life or of others, how to be a more virtuous Jupiter leader of others, so how to more virtuously and truthfully do your projects and career. And they can be like a deep philosophical deliberation over your career and direction in life, but some change there, something very important, very likely is going to happen. As I said, the angels, so the spirits that are wishing you good. Jupiter is protective spirits. Uranus as well is divine wisdom. It will direct you in the right path when it comes to those matters. And I want to say that the solar eclipse also falls very closely almost at the beginning of another lunar constellation code, and it will get some of the energy of Purva Shatka, which means the victorious, which means the success, kind of the winner type of thing, the undefeated. So you might initiate something in the next 6 months, or some of you might have already started it, that eclipse says. That will lead you to some great success. Initiate some successful endeavor, basically. And it might involve also to collaborate with others, because the Purva, this nakshatra that is known as the undefeated, likes to collaborate with others to get its resources great. So that's a good thing to do if you have such ideas. All right, then if you're Taurus, this destroyer of lies eclipse is happening in your 9th house. And the 9th house is all about belief systems anyway. So this is especially important for you, because some old beliefs you had will be totally destroyed. You'll see through them suddenly. For some of you, it might entitle some crisis, realizing how you've kind of deceived yourself or something, but some really powerful truth is coming to the surface for you. Some really powerful understanding of the direction you're meant to take, as the 9th house is where you're meant to go and what will bring you inspiration and your vision for the future. And that will have a powerful transformative ability on you, and it can allow you to start some of you, for example, might realize that something they've been studying, or philosophy they've been following, or line of education, or some intellectual thought, or some teacher they've been following, they might discover certain lies, or they might discover certain untruths there because of, the destroyer of lies, solar eclipse. And they might realize, like, okay, this belief is not true. Or you might believe, for example, money doesn't go on trees, and now you might realize that actually you can manifest in different ways rather than just hard work, Or you might have believed it's any kind of beliefs is the 9th house, but because it's in Capricorn, it is connected to the material reality, how the material world is organized, how you can be successful. So some material belief that you had about what it takes to be successful, what it takes to manifest on the material, tangible way, will be a light will be shined on it, and you'll be released from certain old beliefs that might be even karmic, that were instilled to you from family or something, and that will allow you to start a powerful new beginning in the next 6 months with more truth that is more authentic to you. Or maybe some would realize, this is not the path of studies for me. There is a new path that actually feels way more authentic, And some of you might have powerful spiritual and philosophical realizations around this new moon in Capricorn. And there might be the opportunity for travel that's appearing for you in the next few months because of this eclipse triggering as well, all the planets in the ninth house. And it will bring with it a lot of knowledge. If opportunities for travel to relocate in foreign country or far apart places come, there will be, because they're bringing you a lot of wisdom, they're bringing you a lot of such any trips, if they appear, because they're under the influence of Uranus trine Jupiter, they will liberate you from all beliefs, but they also bring you opportunities and allow you to shift your consciousness and mentality. And especially if you've been feeling stuck in a certain mental state, because ninth house is really your worldview and how you feel about your life generally and how you feel about life generally. And if you've been feeling like, you know, this solar eclipse can kickstart a new belief system, like someone changes the gears, rewires your mind, and you start seeing new opportunities, you know. Okay, if you're Gemini, the solar eclipse is happening in your 8th house. And as I said, it's very spiritual. And 8th house is trauma. There might have been the death or loss of someone, separation, divorce for some of you. Some trauma you've been harboring maybe for years that you still feel it's hurting you and it's painful. And as I said, because the South Node brings things from the past, you know, so some pain that you still haven't overcome, some trauma that you're stuck on, maybe that you've buried as well in your subconscious, might resurface, might be reawakened, but this time to be released. And you might come across some knowledge or wisdom or course or information or seminar, whatever it is, or a teacher that helps your shaman, or just the presence, a healing presence of someone. It might be even a sexual relationship, because 8th house is it has intimacy nature to it. Intimacy might be someone that penetrates very intimately in your subconscious, like a psychologist, astrologer, some knowledge, some information that helps you transform and move through that trauma and come reborn on the other side. Or it might be someone like that you allow physically intimately inside of yourself, you know, that kickstarts this process of liberation. Jupiter, Uranus, they're liberating. And that destroys lies. Remember, it's in Mula, to destroy lies, on which an 8th house is connected to fears, to paranoias. It is connected to traumas and ancestral inheritance, in some say. So they can be the destruction of some ancestral inheritance patterns of a sort, which you've been carrying, which have been false, which have been untrue, which have been limiting, which allow you to go through a big transformation. I think for Gemini, this will be extremely psychologically, spiritually transformative. For a lot of them, it might be a very internal process, though. It can also be destruction of a lies connected to something to do with intimacy. Maybe you believe that this person is the only one for you, and now you realize, oh my God, no. Or you see through some lie, you see through some secrets. For you in particular, there is a lot of secrets that might get unearthed. And they might be connected with your own subconscious, with your own traumas and past, that you discover something traumatic that you've forgotten that kickstarts a process of new beginnings and psychological healing for you. Or it might be connected with the partner, because the 8th house, it is connected to partners' resources, to partners, to intimate relationships as well. And you can have some breakthrough realization there, and hopefully healing. I think there was strong healing influence there as well. And also it's connected to money, other people's money's resources. You might start believing differently about investments, or you might start believing and recognize that, for example, if you believe that I'm not someone who receives from others, so I always attract partners that take from me, or I always attract partners, especially with the resources that others bring to you, or partners that cheat on me, or or I always attract clients who don't have money or something. There might be some belief there, or you believe that this is how much you can create mutually with a partner, and this can really reveal a lot of untruths, this eclipse, and make you break through that limiting belief and take a higher belief, okay, which will allow new beginnings. Then if you're Cancer, this is happening in your 7th house. You will feel this eclipse so powerful in your relationships. And I have a friend who is Cancer, exactly 4 degrees the sun, and the eclipse you know, as I said, it can start acting a month before. And the eclipse already kind of, she experienced it at the beginning of December when she had some deep realizations about her relationships, like a pivotal decision. She discovered certain secret things, because remember, Mula is to discover, to get to the root of something, to investigate, to research, or just to find out some falseness that's been going on with a business partner, with a personal partner, with a relationship, or with your approach towards a relationship. You know, so she discovered certain secrets, and it was crisis for the relationship, but they turned it around, because this eclipse is with Jupiter. It gives you not only something distracted that can happen, or stressful, or to destroy lies and unearth secrets, but it gives you the opportunity to heal, to release, to and to suddenly kind of see the other opportunities, you know, and to download information how to cope with that. So they're on a mending path now. But there can be some element that you discover about someone very close to your partner, marriage partner, or about your attitude towards relationships, about something that you've been, you know, maybe you've been attracting the same type of relationship karmically, or maybe something about a past relationship is reawakened because of the Ketu, which you managed to kind of transform, which you managed to ennoble, because Jupiter is ennobling, transforming in a positive way, and to move to a better expression of relationships. But in some extreme cases, for some of you Cancers, especially if you have a sun, moon, or ascendant around, you know, the first 10 degrees of Cancer, especially around the 4th degree, you can find yourself in extreme cases that you can take a decision, okay, to be free of a relationship. But for some of you, especially if you discover something that it's untruthful, that is not living up to your highest truth and your highest purpose and goal, but for some of you, it can indicate a shift in your relationship, or a partner can also go on such a journey. A partner of yours can start like going very deep and thinking, transforming in some way. And in worst case scenario, they can get distracted, because Mula is also distractive influence. Hopefully not, because there are good aspects. As I said, I think wisdom and knowledge overpower the distractiveness of Mula, the nakshatra where this is happening, the lunar constellation. But yeah, so, but for some of you, it can indicate starting of a new relationship within the next 6 months. That is karmic, but this time it's good karma. You know, you've done something, you've maybe done work on your relationships, on transforming your attitude towards relationship. The South Node is there. It's something that you've been, you know, dealing with already. And you have a spiritual realization and shift within you psychologically, emotionally. As I said, it's changing your subconscious believes this. And it allows, like, based on good actions that you've done on the past and changes that you're doing now, it will, for some of you, it can bring a good karmic partner, a good meaning, someone you've been with before in a past lifetime, South Node, you know, or even someone you've been before in this lifetime, but someone that will feel familiar, but it brings healing influence to you, Jupiter, and opportunities and more joy and wisdom, rather than karmic that's here to test you. Okay, so then we have Leo. Leo's what's happening in your 6th house, the eclipse. So they can be, you can find some realizations, deep realizations, and destroy truths, and that are connected to your health, that are connected to addictions. 6th house is that self-medicating, that, for example, some of you might have thought, oh, cigarettes calm me down, or alcohol distresses me, or food or sugar, it's calming. Life is miserable without my favorite food. And something can deprogram now your mind. It might be a book, it might be your mind starting to change, that you're starting to observe some self-medicating thing that you do, some crutch that you're using for your health. You start seeing it not actually as a friend, you start seeing it, oh my God, this is the source of my issues. It's not solving my anxiety, it's the thing that's causing my anxiety, when it's, you know, and it can start deprogramming you about your beliefs about health, about fitness, about or health. As I said, for example, some of you might think, oh, my family have been diabetic, and that's why I'm prone and I'm on the verge of becoming diabetic or whatever. And now you can have like a powerful realization, researching, getting to and realizing this is untrue. I don't have to follow in those steps. And some teacher can appear, Jupiter, some information, some knowledge that can deprogram those beliefs about you, about your health. So I see some Leos can have powerful, I wouldn't call it spontaneous healing, because spontaneous means it's you don't do anything about it, but it's something is happening in your subconscious, something is happening that is, and once you align your subconscious with what you want in regards to your health, and with our conscious, we always want the best, you know, we want to be free of addictions, we want to be free of diseases, we want to be healthy. But when the subconscious is reprogrammed, like this eclipse can do that very powerfully, with wisdom, with information that solves maybe can solve your long-standing health problem, in some sort as well. And that can kickstart a new phase in your health, that can kickstart a new phase in your approach to self-care, so to speak. And it is also the house of pets. Some of you might get a new pet. Some of you, is the house of work, of course. We forgot one of the most important things. It might be a process where you discover certain lies or untruths about your career, or some illusions that you had about your career and your work, and you're willing to release them, and the knowledge that you receive by understanding that can really improve the circumstances of your career in the next 6 months. But first, there's some internal process happening that allows you to understand that, you know, you are either in a limiting situation, or that what you're believing, or there's something that there might have been something shifty happening connected to employees or with work, you know, and to shift your attitude towards matters of that, which will bring new beginnings after that. Okay, so then if you are Virgo, the destroyer of lies is happening in your 5th house of romance. You know, there can be such deep realizations happening currently about what you need in love, or how you've been doing your love and romantic relationships, or maybe that a romantic partner that you had, you can realize that what illusions have been having about a romantic partner, or some secrets that this romantic partner might have been having. But this liberates. This knowledge does not restrict you, it liberates you somehow. It turns for the best. Remember, Jupiter and Uranus are part of this eclipse. Even if there's some crisis in romance or whatever, it's, or how you feel about romance, it's ultimately there to bring you to a better manifestation of your romantic love. And self-expression, 5th house is your talents, your gift, your self-expression. Some of you might suddenly uncover talents and gifts from past lifetimes, talents and hobbies, something that they're naturally good at, naturally can shine and express themselves so fluently through, that maybe they forgot about it, maybe they had in their childhood something they were passionate about, and now they can, because it's with the South Node, remember to bring something from the past and to bring, this eclipse to start something new, to bring life to it. Or maybe some creative project or passion that you had before, some creative business idea that's your own, can be revived now and can be started. And it might be as well, as I said, because it's close to the other nakshatra, Parva Ashatha, the Parva Ashatha. I'm not sure how I pronounce it well, but it's about initiating successful endeavors. So within, starting from this month or the next month, there can be the initiating of successful endeavors by using your enthusiasm, which leads to some creative project that's fulfilled, or even business project that's your idea, or even something that is very original idea of yours that you create, you know. Also, some of you, the 5th house is children, can have like a sudden realization about what they, about children, whether they, and maybe there might have been some long-standing problem with a child, or stagnant situation, the South Node being involved here. And then you suddenly receive piece of information, or something gets reprogrammed in your mind, your attitude towards your child, or you get an understanding how to approach your child in order for this issue to be shifted, and it shifts in the next few months, you know. So hopefully, you know, there can be sudden new beginnings in the life of your child as well, if you have a more grown-up child of some sort, or new beginnings connected to children in your life. All right, if you are Libra, this is happening in your 4th house. They can be ah, the secrets being uncovered in regards to your family. Remember, Mula is to uncover, to destroy lies and illusions. Maybe you've been deluding yourself about um, something about your family or about your mother or extended family. They can be something that you discover which liberates you. Remember, it's liberating, and it's very spiritual eclipse, as I said. Of course, they can always be preceded by a crisis of some sort. But on another level, it can indicate that you might have had a long-standing issue like, where do I live, or something with the family that gets resolved now, or that gets answers, and that allows you to start a new beginning. I can give you an example. It's happening in the 4th house of my husband, and we think we might have found a house. So it gives you 4th house is property, home, place of living. So it can give you more clarity. Jupiter brings clarity, how to act in regards to home matters, family matters, and to destroy, as I said, remember, it's Mula is destroying of lies, so self-limiting beliefs of some sort. So to make you find where you belong, or place that feels your own, and settle in some sort. So they can be powerful new beginnings in regards to that. And emotionally, 4th house is the past, family, emotions, hidden, buried emotions. They can be a powerful release of stagnant feelings, and somehow happening for you, and big changes in your family, that you have to be on the lookout for. And emotionally for you, something that has been stagnant, Ketu, that you've been holding on as a security paradigm, maybe you saw it from your parents, subconsciously you're imitating it now, is getting dissolved, is getting released for you now. So you don't have to have the same emotional fears, the same anymore, the same emotional state. The emotional state can rise to a higher vibration after possibly a crisis or some deep transformation that's happening. If you're Scorpio, this is happening in your 3rd house. So there can be an uncovering of untruthful information of some sort, or illusionary some information that you thought was true. You can discover, oh, but that's not true. Mula is destroyer of untruths. Some secret correspondence to information that can come, or you can just get very passionate about researching and studying something and start on some new research, because Mula is to dig, to research, to investigate, and it approaches it with passion. So you're gonna go approach some new field of knowledge or information or studying with passion, and you can notice that you start talking very directly and truthfully. Already Scorpio has that. They're already like that. So imagine what's gonna happen now. You can notice yourself that you're not tolerating bullshit, you're not tolerating even connections, because this is social connections that are usually, people in your everyday life, whether it's workmates, teammates, friends you hang out with, relatives, neighbors, that you are transforming your communication with them, and that you're telling some things or discovering some truthful things about them, some things that you thought were not true. You can discover about some, that you thought certain way about someone in your environment, and you discover some secret about them, or you start, or you even approach them and you point out something to them, or such people can approach and point out something to you that kind of destroys untruths around you. Also, it can be connected to beginning some new course of study or research. We talked about that, that you feel passionate about. It can indicate some travels or trips that are being triggered for you as well. And they will bring a lot of knowledge. If you have some travels or trips that are happening in the next month or two, take it in short trips. Under a month, or some educational opportunity to learn something, take it, because it's bringing powerful opportunities with it. It's with Jupiter, expansion of knowledge, new opportunities. Uranus, sudden shifts in a positive way of circumstances, because it's an easy aspect from Uranus. And you can suddenly receive a piece of information that is important, a document of some sort, some communication, some in conversation that you lead, and something important can happen in the life of sibling or relative as well that affects you. And third house is very business oriented as well. You can start like a new project, or they can be, you can suddenly realize that certain project is not, certain project, you can decide to act in your business projects from a more moral perspective, or from more expanded vision. Jupiter there, so that's another way it can play out. Yes, let's see. Then it is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, for you, this is happening in your second house, you see, from Sagittarius. So they can be uncovering of certain untruths in regards to belief systems that you have about resources, money, your self-worth. You can realize maybe that you've been putting yourself down in regards to your self-worth, and you can start a process of building a new, healthier self-worth for yourself, and what you believe you're worth, and what you believe you're capable of as well, because the second house is our resources, how you're capable of using your own resources to deal with the material circumstances of life. And these are resources like talents, or just the available resources around you. You can have suddenly like a great idea about how to use the resources around you to take care of the material reality around you. There might be some new ideas that are coming, or old ones revived, because South-Node is part of it there, that allow you in the next 6 months to unfold a project which creates more material stability in your life of some sort. And as I said, it can be, and because it's two constellations that are affected, Mula, destroyer of lives, or destroyer of lives about money and resources, or something that you investigate when it comes to money, something secret that comes to the surface, or resources. Or they can be the other nakshatra, lunar constellation that's affected, is the undefeated, which indicates initiating successful endeavors in regards to material circumstances as well, in which you will be victorious, in which within a few months will create way more financial stability for you in some way. So yeah, there might be new income coming of some sort, and we did the dissolving of all beliefs of what you're worth as well, and how much you can have, and how much you're capable of creating yourself and manifesting. So it can remove almost even boundaries in regards to what you think it's possible materially and financially to you, and dissolve such old beliefs or untruths. Then if you are Capricorn, wow, Capricorn, this is happening in your own house. You Capricorns will feel this eclipse the strongest, especially the early born Capricorns. But all Capricorns are under the pressure now, with their planets all over their sign, early degrees, later degrees. But the early Capricorns feel it the most. So if you're Capricorn rising in the first 10 degrees, Capricorn moon in the first 10 degrees, Capricorn sun in the first 10 degrees, basically the December born Capricorns will feel it, especially if you're born on the 25th, 26th, 27th of December, an eclipse on your birthday, my God. And that's such a spiritual eclipse. There's big reprogramming of you, and will put you on a new path, definitely in life. So Capricorn should be on the lookout for powerful downloads of information and ideas coming from Jupiter and Uranus that direct them into a new direction of life, and that end an old cycle. And it will be inspiring. I want Capricorn to watch the whole introduction, because everything that I said in the introduction is specifically for you, because it's happening in your sign. So the first 20 minutes or something that I talk, Capricorn, they're all about you. I don't want to repeat myself. Just watch the beginning, because everything I talk there, it will resonate deeply with you in every area of your life. And for you, it might be connected also with your physical health, some untruth that you understand, some false beliefs that you've had, some false belief about your whole life and the direction of your life that gets uncovered, and that you release, and that puts you on a new path in life. And not only that, but you can start some research, some deep digging as well. And also because the other nakshatra constellation involved is the undefeated. A lot of you, especially early Capricorns, will be starting some project, a new beginning in their life that will lead them to great success, because the undefeated nakshatra is initiate successful events, and I would advise you again, maybe using a team of some sort, but it's initiating successful endeavors with power, with vigor, and wisdom. Jupiter is there, and will help over that. And it will help you overcome obstacles as well. And as I said, there'll be big dissolving of old problems and coming out of stagnation if you've been feeling stuck of some sort. So check out the whole introduction. It's for everyone matters, but specifically for you and your whole life. Then if you're Aquarius, this is happening in our 12th house, Aquarius, Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising. There's a big deprogramming happening for you with this 12th house, new moon eclipse. Maybe for some of you it's already started, for some of you it's about to start, but some beliefs and actually programs that were instilled in you from time immemorial, from past lifetimes, 12th house rules that, from not only past lifetimes, but from early lifetimes and they forgot it, that lead them to self-sabotaging behaviors, that lead them, and 12th house is your weaknesses. So the weaknesses that you have, and it might be addictions, it might be you not believing in yourself, you might be yourself sabotaging you because you saw that as a child and you don't even forget, you don't even remember where it's coming from. It's all behaviors that are kind of undoing for ourselves, undoing as in a sense underwater stones that trip us, that are weaknesses. Well, there is releasing of those. There is some piece of wisdom that's coming that's gonna make you look at those self-sabotaging behaviors or those vices, hidden vices that we might have. It will make you start looking at them in a very different way. It's like a quantum jump in your understanding, and maybe you've tried before to cope with such self-sabotaging behavior, whether it's addictions, procrastination, fears, paranoias, worries of any sort. It's very mental house, the 12th house, mental health. You know, if you've been having such, it's kind of the universe is giving you a dispensation of a blessing, Jupiter, Uranus, to find the right solutions. And maybe you've read and tried to solve those problems before, but you could not. You just read it, you understood it intellectually, but you didn't go deep through the subconscious. Well, now maybe reread a certain book, or maybe try a certain workshop or certain meditation or certain, and it's happening all psychologically within you. And that will, this time it's going to work. This time you're going to start understanding it. And again, it's connected to addiction sometimes. And if you have a habit of having a glass of wine before you go to sleep, but you can't be able to stop it, or it might be like a whole bottle or whatever, and you're like, oh, I can't live without my wine. You know, mommy needs her wine or whatever. Well, something will start deprogramming this belief for you. Something will, you find the information that can release you so you're not emotionally and psychologically attached to that belief, and see, actually, this is what's been ruining my sleep and giving me stress on the next day. You know, or it can be in any kind of weakness or self-undoing behavior. It can, you know, kickstart a new beginning for you to uncover the lies that you have there, the lies, the wrong beliefs about those things. And some of you might even discover secrets or some deep investigation about their past lifetimes or the past that they don't remember. So deep psychological work is the topic here. And don't forget, Capricorns, that your ruler, Aquarius, is invisible. So it's time for more internal things for the next month and a half, you know, January till the start of February, when Mars, Saturn becomes visible. So I think there'll be some big psychological breakthrough for you, some deep psychological healings and releases based on information and knowledge you receive. And I believe that it will be liberating, as I said, liberating, yes. So, and also 12th house is connected to investing and spending. There might be certain spendings that are happening for you this season, but they're kind of those spendings that they're good spendings, like you're investing in something, you're investing in knowledge, or you're investing maybe in some future project that you might be doing. So you might be researching or studying, because Mula is about digging and researching. 12th house is fantastic for that. Fantastic time to search, to study, to research, to dig about something that you want to do in the future, or to invest, because the 12th house is to spend money, but it's about a project that will be successful later in the future, but it might feel like spending now. Okay, so then, but again, spendings are quite possible, more than normal. I'm Aquarius rising, my God, I've never spent so much. So, all right, so, and then we get to Pisces. Pisces, for you, this is happening in the 11th house. They can be, in the extreme cases, some destruction of life connected to your social life, to some friends, something that comes, to associates, to some groups and organizations that you're a member of, that you discover something, or or towards your attitude towards your people might start changing, because you're getting such a download from the solar, from Mula, the root, basically the galactic center, where the eclipse is very close to, where truths comes from, truth, seeing the truth. So you might realize, oh my God, I've outgrown this group, or I've outgrown those friends, or these friends actually seem very destructive, or you might even notice a friend being destructive currently in your life, towards themselves or towards you in some way. And you might want to go and break up a lot of friendships or something, but no, because Jupiter and Uranus are part of this eclipse, actually. It will be liberating, and it will allow you to create new friends. It's something will shift in your consciousness about who you want to associate with, who is worthy, or what kind of people are needed in your life, what associates, what networking you need to achieve your goals, and you draw the right ones. You draw, and also the 11th house is your goals. There is like some old goal that you maybe have abandoned, that can come to be revived now, to start for you acting on it and to fulfill it like a dream. Or it can also indicate that you realize that certain goal, there is like it's not the highest to your potential, because it's distraction of life, or it's not leading you to where you want, certain goal that you've been working on. So it can make space for new goals that are more aligned with your higher truth, which is Jupiter. Also, it can indicate the coming of new associates and friendships within the next 2-3 months, especially, which will help you fulfill your goals into the future, but which are more spiritual, because Jupiter is there, South Node, which will open new gates for you, which will open new opportunities for you. Uranus is there as well, making the trine, and that are more truthful somehow, so yeah, that's about it. And by the way, I really like, because the eclipse is happening very close to the other nakshatra, lunar constellation, the undefeated. So you can start some project in the next month, maybe the idea can come now, next month, especially after your Jupiter becomes visible for you. In January, Jupiter, the planet that rules you, become visible, so it will be a fantastic time. But now maybe you can come with an idea which allows you to create some goal and initiate some successful endeavor that will be financially quite rewarding, because it's a house of gains. But you have to use group of people. You can't do it alone, because the nakshatra is connected to gathering resources, combining your resources and talents with others, and it's in the 11th house of resources and talents with others. So you have to pull like a carpool type of thing to achieve some goal for you. And it's being told here that it will be long lasting if you initiate it, or the idea that might come to you now, a new goal, and it will be long lasting because it's Capricorn, and it will be victorious because it's the constellation of, the undefeated. So yeah, there we go. So there we go. Thank you so much for everyone. Do join us with Nikola Stojanovic on the 22nd for Neptune, the webinar for Neptune that we're doing. His lectures are always amazing, so insightful. It makes your head spin after that, with how specific he can be with predictions. But also with Angelique, as I said, on the 29th, we're doing just for $20 some manifest your 2020 dreams. We'll do vision boards. So you have to prepare the things that you want to manifest in 2020 with clippings and stuff. It'll be a lot of fun plus spiritual work. Thank you so much. I love you. This eclipse is very spiritual, brings deep realizations, brings deep deprogramming from the past, and opens the path for new beginnings. I love you. And oh, by the way, if you want to really know where the eclipse is affecting you, you can check my transit calendar, which will show you exactly where the eclipse is, if it's affecting anything in your horoscope. Thank you.